Dear friends, I wish all the blessings of this great day, the feast of Saint Lawrence. As we know, Saint Lawrence, he was one of the first 7 deacons in the Cathedral Church of Rome, and he was the first one. It was a time of severe persecution. And that was a time Pope Sixtus assigned him as the archdeacon of the Cathedral Church. That means he is entrusted to the treasury of the church. So that was the time of severe persecution to the extent Pope was executed. And the next order was, the king ordered that St. Lawrence be brought all the treasures of the church and hand it over to the king. So he said, give me 3 days, and within 3 days I will bring all the treasures of the church. So what did he do within these 3 days? What all temporal goods that he had, he gave it to the poor. And on the 3rd day, he brought all the poor, the crippled, the blind, every one of them, and presented them to the king and said, here is the treasures of the church. And all the more he added, we have got some more precious stones and pearls and diamonds. And he brought all the widows and the consecrated virgins and said, they are the crowns of the church. And that made the king very angry, to the extent he was, this king decided and ordered for St. Lawrence to be martyred. And they have prepared a gridiron having charcoals, fiery charcoals underneath. In our modern terms, it's a barbecue. So now alive, St. Lawrence was laid on this iron, and he was going through so much of pain because it takes hours and hours to die, burning one by one. But he was so happy. He was so cheerful to the extent it is being said, while he was there on that gridiron, while going through this burning experience, he told them, "Now I am well done on my one side. Now turn me back to the other side." So much of confidence in the life next. So much of faith in heaven that is awaiting for, and that is St. Lawrence. That is how he became a great martyr in our Catholic Church and a great saint. So he teaches us a beautiful lesson. Who are we living for? In our sufferings, in our pains, what is our priority? Very often, when we go through sufferings and pains in our lives, now what is it that is going through our life? Suppose a person is suffering because of cancer. What is this person thinking? This person thinks about the suffering. Why am I not healed by Jesus? Or you may be comparing yourself with those who do not have cancer. Now what happens? These are all the secondary elements. Healing or looking at others, and then why am I not healed? The primary purpose is to see Jesus in your suffering. At the end of your suffering, if you can see Jesus waiting there, suffering becomes beautiful, or else we are wasting all our sufferings. Think about our first martyr in the Bible, in the Acts of the Apostles, Saint Stephen. While everyone was stoning him to death, he did not look at the stones, but rather he looked upward and he saw heaven opened, and he could see Jesus in glory there. So all the suffering, all the stones come upon me, I see Jesus there, so I am so happy. Gladly, with all the courage, he gave his life as a martyr for the Lord. So to Lawrence, so too in our lives, this is our primary call and primary purpose of our suffering, that see Jesus. If you know the end, you can begin so well. Very often we don't see the end. And if you have seen heaven in your heart, and if there is Jesus standing there for you, every suffering becomes meaningful, and there will be joy in suffering, in pain and everything. Or else you will be always get frustrated, depressed, and you will be murmuring, complaining, and you say that I don't believe in God, I'm losing my faith, I don't want to live in this world. These are all coming from because we haven't seen the end. That's why we are frustrated. A great musician, Mozart, one day someone asked him, how do you compose such beautiful music? Everything is so beautiful and famous. He said, when I sit to compose a music, I see the last note. Unless and until I see the last note, I will not begin. Because I see the last note, I know it's going to be well. Have you seen the last note? Very often we just continue this music without having known the last note. That's why we are stuck at some point. We do not know how to proceed. Sometimes we are confused. We ask lots of questions. But pray to St. Lawrence that I may see the last note. I may see Jesus at the end of my suffering. And that becomes so beautiful to the extent while you are there in the fiery furnace of that grilled iron, and while he is going through so much of pain, he could smile and say, now one of my sides is well done, now turn me over. That is called having seen the end and has begun so well. Let us pray for this beautiful grace in our lives too. The Holy Rosary. May Lord continue to bless each and every one of you and keep you safe.